You're listening to the Anything Goes Project. Interesting topics, interesting things, real stories by real people. Your host is Mike. The Anything Goes Project is a production of M&C Designs. Be advised, this show may not be suitable for all ages. Many of the topics are for mature audiences only. The explicit tag is there for a reason. If you would like to contact the show, email us at stalkermailbox@gmail.com or leave us a message at 361-433-5739. And now, on with the show.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, I've got another interesting guest for you, but this guest isn't one of these that I bring to you that's published a book or something like that. Tonight, we're jumping back into the podcast genre. This individual is a fellow host of a podcast, and his podcast is called Irrationally Exuberant. I listened to it today and a couple episodes yesterday. Dude, it is freaking hilarious. Reid Messerschmidt, welcome to the show tonight.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Please tell me I did not butcher that last name.
No, it's perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
Uh-huh.
How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. Just got off the real job and onto the thing I want to be doing.
Awesome. And so right now, since you are a podcast host and you're coming on to our show, and we're gonna dive into a little bit of what it takes to produce a podcast, the shit
Sure.
we have to go through for our clients and our guests and stuff like that. And sometimes and I don't know if you feel this way too, but sometimes you just kind of want to throw your hands up in the air and say, screw this, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. About once a week, I think.
During the editing phase?
Yeah, sometimes, or just the social media aspect. Sometimes is a little it feels shitty.
Especially
you
when
feel like a whore.
Yeah, especially when you forget to post something and you're like, nobody will miss it.
Yeah.
And then you're getting messages, well, where's the episode? Oh shit, it's up.
Yeah.
Where's the links?
Yeah, or you get that, but at the same time, when you do post it, you're like, well, maybe hit that like button so I know you're up there.
Yeah. I mean, or hit the freaking subscribe button. Come on.
Exactly. They come out of the woodworks when you fuck up, but when you're doing great.
Oh, yeah. I did a podcast a while back with Robbie from Out of the Blank, and we were just talking about like UFO stuff, the USS Nimitz and stuff like that. And I released the YouTube video, and dude, everybody was loving it. They were commenting on Facebook and loving it. But I stepped off into the comment sections of YouTube to see what was going on. And we all know we don't jump into that dumpster fire.
No, never.
And some dude's ripping me apart because I misquoted something about, I'm not a freaking astrophysicist or astrobiologist or something like that. I said something about a radio signal taking 1,000,000 years to get here. And he's like, no, it'd only take 100 years if you did what this. I was like, what the fuck? Come on, dude. Do you see a PhD on that wall behind me?
Right.
No.
Right. I'm just a guy in an office.
A very colorful office to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who are listening on audio, you need to go check out the video version over on YouTube because he's got a very interesting office motif going on here. Right. I noticed that when he turned on his light, I was like, holy crap, I need to get in there and actually look at some of that stuff.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the walls are covered in thrift store detritus, I guess.
Is
just
there a
random
reason for
thrift
this?
store stuff. I just like the way it looks. I got sober about 6 years ago, and I needed the thing that they don't tell you about getting sober is that it really frees up a lot of time.
Yes, it does.
And like the number one, I think, problem that people that are getting sober have is that they don't really know how to fill that time. So I needed a project. I realized
all this
pretty
extra
quickly
money.
I needed a project. Yeah, exactly. Right. So this was my project, and I filled it up in about 6 months. I just went crazy at thrift stores. Yeah. Hopefully I never get like accused of being a serial killer. because I think this office, like Exhibit A, it'll be Exhibit A. I'll be convicted. There's too much like weird Catholic shit.
It's interesting looking. That is cool, man. I'm surprised. I was like, wow, that's cool. And I thought my background was weird.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Let's talk about your show a minute, because
Sure.
your show is a little different than some of the people that I've brought on here that actually have podcasts. We interview people day in, day out, and so you never know where the story's going to go.
Right.
Yours, I asked you about it, and we were talking about it, and I mentioned something about interviewing guests. You're like, oh, I don't interview guests. Mine's entirely scripted. And I'm like, there is no freaking way I could do that.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know why I started it that way. I guess I said I'm a writer for years, as a lot of alcoholics do. Everything comes back to the alcoholism, but a lot of alcoholics say they're writers and don't do much writing, and I was one of those. So I want to do something that involved writing, but just writing feels a lot like just, screaming into the void, and podcasting does too sometimes, but at least you have like a tangible product fairly often. And yeah, I started writing, and started with an episode about Chris Gaines, and wrote, and I liked the way it turned out. So that's what the show was.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
I feel you when you talk about writing, because I have published 6 books. So, and you, during the writing process, you're like, is this ever going to be done?
Right. And is anybody going to care once it is?
Yeah.
Right.
And me personally, I didn't care if anybody cared. It was more, this was something in me that I needed to get out. Just so happened people liked it, so that was fine for me. But you've got this, I think your episode, what is the maximum length on your episode? I've seen 10 minutes, 8 minutes and stuff like that. So they're short episodes, but they're very entertaining and funny. Some of them are funny.
Thank you. Hopefully.
Oh man, I was cracking up when you were talking about the hookworm in Australia, and I was like, I am never going swimming if I go there.
Yeah, the worm that swims up your dick hole.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just had to readjust here.
That has long been a deep-seated fear of mine. It's just underwater creatures.
Yeah, and
entering me.
A freaking shark could come along and take a nibble off my leg. I'd be cool with that.
Right.
That's the natural order. But you're going to swim up my junk and eat me from the inside? We got some issues there.
Yeah. So when I started the show, episodes were an hour plus. And there were, segments, essentially.
Yeah, I haven't gone back that far yet.
Right. And it was a lot. It was like 40-page script for every episode.
Ooh.
And then just me performing everything. Because I do voices occasionally and characters occasionally, and it wasn't just a lot to make, but it was a lot to listen to. I think it was a little overwhelming for people because I was just dumping so much in there.
Yeah.
So I started to chop it up and release it as just the segments, so they're more manageable.
Yeah.
5 to 10 minute things.
I mean, it's a little bit different kind of how than I do it, because I'm talking with somebody. So the story, we're constantly talking about new things each week and getting a different perspective. Yeah, I think if I did a show by myself, I would try to keep it the time frame a little lower.
Yeah.
I mean, this show here, I carry it anywhere from an hour to 2 hours per episode. So it just depends on the flow of the story. Sometimes I've got somebody that's a really good talker, and they've got a badass story to go with it. And it's like, I'm going to keep going with this.
You got to just let them go. Right.
Yeah. Because otherwise it'd be like, okay, I've still got all this to talk about. Yeah, but we're running up against time. It's time to get out of here. You know what? I'm not governed by the FCC. I can do it however long I want.
Well, that's the beauty of podcasts. I feel like a lot of podcasts operate as though these rules apply to them, and they don't. That's the podcasts are still the Wild West.
It is.
But a lot of podcasters act like they have a boss. They act like they have a boss. you know? And I don't like that so much.
Have you been into any of the podcast forums?
Oh, so many of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I get this. Yeah, if you don't have the proper mic or are
Mhm.
using the proper software or using the
Mhm.
proper platform to interview your guests, you're beneath me. I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah, just a lot
I,
of numbers focus and people talking about their numbers, and I
yeah,
don't give a shit.
yeah, people ask me all the time, well, what are your numbers? I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
look
look
at
at
them.
them. Yeah.
I go on
I,
my host site to publish, and every now and then I'll look at the map to see where people are listening.
right. I imagine that if my show really blows up, somebody will let me know. Or I'll notice somehow, you know?
That'll be when the sponsors start going, hey, we want to come on your show.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you've gotten some good reviews on your show, I've seen. So I mean,
yeah. It's
that's a
well
good thing.
reviewed for sure. Yeah, everybody that hears it seems to enjoy it. I'm sure it's not for everybody. It's not meant to be. It is very much just me dumping all of myself into this, absurdist take on
Awesome.
whatever I am interested in at the time.
It's
Yeah.
definitely an interesting point of view because and in all honesty, you caught me off guard there because it was like some of the stuff you were talking about. I was like, I didn't know that. Who
Yeah.
the hell? Nobody ever told me there was a freaking ghost kangaroo.
A lot of it's made up too.
Okay. I'm sitting there listening to that and I'm like, holy shit, what is this? This 4-inch fangs and they all have rabies? And I'm like, everything in that freaking country wants to kill you.
Yeah, it is a mix of truth and fiction. That is for sure. The goal. So kind of the inspiration for the show was that I was reading a lot of this kind of like novelized history, like Eric Larson. Have you ever read Eric Larson? He's like this big dude. He'll write a historical story. So it's it'll be about Marconi inventing the radio or something like that. But it's very much told in almost a novelized fashion, even though it's all supposedly fact. But I was reading a lot of that at the time and thinking like, there's no way this dude can know all of this. A lot of this is he's filling in some blanks. And then it occurred to me like, what do I care? What difference does it make to me? I'm having a nice time. Right. Yeah. And whether it was a sunny day that day, I don't think he really knows that. Probably. I mean, you could go back and look at weather records, but who knows? But I don't care. We're not reporting. I'm not Tom Brokaw. He's not Tom Brokaw. I'm not reporting the news. It doesn't matter. I want to be entertained. So I wanted to kind of play with that a little bit. Make people
it definitely
sort it
entertained me and had me going, oh shit. And I was like, I didn't grab my phone to Google it yet, so I didn't know. And I was like, no way.
Well, I think, so I've done with the shorter episodes, they're thematically linked, like 5 of them or 4 of them will be thematically linked. So I'm kind of on platypuses right now because I just got interested in platypuses, I guess. So I think in the platypus series, it's probably about 70% true. Everything is about 70% true.
Okay, that works. Now, here's the thing, though. Have you ever had anybody just come balls at you like, this isn't right? You didn't do this right. This isn't true or anything?
I did an episode on flat Earth theory.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that.
It's actually not up right now. But I kind of I took it down for a while. Because it was the first episode that I released and I doing it kind of all in character as a flat earther. And I didn't want people just tuning into the show to think that that's what the show actually was. Because it's ridiculous. It's insane, stupid community. And
man, have you followed any of their YouTube pages?
Oh, I dived as deep as you can go. I went way in. Facebook groups, YouTube videos, everything.
I'm gonna put a shout out to this one guy that he is a flat earther. I want him on the show. I want him to come on the show. Flat Earth Jesus. If you ever listen to my show, please, I want you on here. Contact me. I will dump a Grammy-winning artist to put you on.
Yeah.
But he literally thinks that the moon
Right.
is a glass blown globe that
Mhm.
giants blew the glass globe and
Mhm.
just kind of stuck it up there in the firmament
Right. You've
to
got the
confuse us.
firmament. You've got the firmament, which is a big sticking point because, I mean, there are different camps of the flat Earth movement, right?
Mhm.
There's the very Bible-based flat Earth movement, very Bible-based, and they are really hung up on
The four
Genesis
the four
and the
corners of the
firmament,
earth.
the four corners of the earth, the firmament. So we live on a flat Earth, and there is a dome above us,
Yeah.
and God lives just outside of that, I guess.
I heard that. I've heard everything from the reason we created nuclear missiles was to launch it at the firmament, and the
Right.
mushroom cloud is it rolling down the dome.
Yes. That's not how smoke and domes work, but you
No.
know.
But
That's it.
but we are talking about magic domes.
Right. It is a God. It is made by God, who may or may not, I don't know, live in the moon. I imagine there's some people that think
Yeah,
that.
but you think we would see that from the moon?
Yeah, I don't
Oh, that's a
know.
whole new series.
Oh yeah, that's all fake too. The Apollo thing. The thing about the flat Earth is there's a lot of them that are very, very smart. I mean, these
Mhm.
theories are really fleshed out.
They sound smart.
Right.
It,
Yes. And if you just do a cursory glance at it, you might be tempted to be hooked in. I can see
mhm.
it. I can understand.
Oh yeah.
But take 10 more minutes and think a little harder.
Yes, there's one show that there were two shows that I actually listened to. One of them he goes by Godless Engineer, and the other one is the Non Sequitur Show. And
Mhm.
every Saturday they have what's called Flatter Day Night Fights, and they bring on a flat earther
Yeah.
to debate a physicist,
A
a
globetard.
somebody who
Have
is
you
an
heard that?
actual scientist. Yeah,
Yeah. Globetards, they call
yep,
them.
and it's always a slaughter. And it's like these guys will be like, okay, if you do this and this and this and the guy's sitting over here and goes, look, I don't even need a calculator to work out that your math sucks.
Right. Right. But yeah. But surface level,
It's going to confuse people.
the first 10 minutes that you start reading about it, you're like, maybe they're onto something.
Yeah.
And then and then as with almost everything like this, you get to the anti-Semitism. And you're like, oh yeah, there it is. There's the anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism, and also towards the end, when you start debunking every theory they've got no other choice but to start throwing out the fuck yous, and you're banned and blocked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's like the old adage of playing chess with the pigeon. He's gonna run over to your side of the board, kick over all your pieces, take a crap on the board, and then fly back to his friends and say he won.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's an interesting community. But anyway, back to our point. They, I tried to debate some of them once or twice, and
You'll never
put
get
my
that
thing.
time back.
I had the temerity to throw up my episode on one of their Facebook pages, and that was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah.
I would have loved to have been around for that, because that would have been hilarious. The Michael Jackson meme eating the popcorn would have definitely come up.
Yeah, right. Yep, they were upset. I mean, and I used their words word for word in a lot of it. I just pulled stuff and used it in a debate section.
Well,
So,
one of the bigger guys that's in this, he's one of the ones that holds all these flat earth conventions and stuff like that. They actually brought him on their show to debate him, and he left the show within about 10 minutes because they were just slaughtering him.
Yeah.
With all his everything that he was talking about. And then he eventually, like you said, gets into the anti-Semitism, and it was like one of the guys that was a scientist there was like, really? We're gonna go there? I'm Jewish.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
the guy was like, he ended up dropping out of the debate and was like, I'm done, and he blocked all of them, and so he'll never get back on the show, I guess. But
well, what I found really interesting and also offensive about the flat earth movement is how confident and condescending they are. Like, okay, you've got a belief that goes against all of history.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to hold that belief, I guess that is your right to do. But the level of confidence they have in themselves and the whole globe-tard thing, like
Mm-hmm.
if you believe in the globe, you're a fucking idiot kind of mentality. That is offensive. To, like, not like, oh my God, I'm offended, but like just have a little humility about your stupid theory.
Well, here's another one for you to do a show about. Young Earth creationists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's a whole other.
Yeah, let's get Ken Ham on the line.
We just live in a world where just nothing matters. It's just so fucking, we ran a little experiment as a civilization and said, hey, what if we gave everybody access to everything all the time? And that could have gone in a lot of different ways. And the way it went is where we are now. And it kind of is horrible. It's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. It's kind of like that picture I've seen that's got the evolutionary flow chart. And we know that that's not the correct one. It's got the show starts off with the chimp and goes to Cro-Magnon and all that. And then the last one, you see the last one, and it's an actual full-blown human, and he's actually walking back towards him, going, whoa, turn around, we fucked up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for all the potential that the information age has within it, we're not doing it right now.
No, we're not. And I think that's kind of where society is right now. And I like to poke fun at these things because it's satirical to begin with. But so many people take anything that they see online or on Facebook or on Instagram as absolute gospel.
Right.
And it's like, you can tell them that's from a satirical website. No. It's true. Your information's fake news.
Well, and you've got things like fake news and disinformation agents. Like all those things are just like they cover any argument you could possibly make against them. Like, okay, you would, if you can accuse somebody of being a disinformation agent just because their argument doesn't work for you, that's like, we can't have a conversation.
Yeah, and there's no way to combat that. I mean, how could you?
I'm not.
All day long, you can throw facts at them, made up, fake.
Yeah, right.
Really, there's guy won a Nobel Prize on this information.
Where'd you get that? An encyclopedia, you idiot?
Yeah.
You believe the encyclopedia?
Well, if you did get it out of, this one's my favorite one. Oh, so you got that out of the encyclopedia? Yeah. Was it the edition printed after 1958? Like, what? Yes. The 1952 edition tells you that there's a wall around Antarctica. And I'm like, what? What the hell are you reading?
I mean, I just, I guess I'm just about old enough to remember a time when there was an encyclopedia, and then that was what everybody just accepted was the truth.
Yeah, and I grew up poor, so my Encyclopedia Britannica set came from a garage sale, and it was missing L and O.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you didn't know about Lithuania until you were, 20.
Oxygen. Oh, that's we breathe that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Every house you had a set of Encyclopedia Britannica put out in 1968 that your grandparents bought from a door-to-door salesman, and that was the ultimate authority on everything.
Oh yeah, I can remember. I got to do this book report. Go get an encyclopedia.
Right.
And I'm like, but it's outdated. I'm like, what do you mean? I said they don't even have the President Kennedy's assassination in there.
It's okay. You know what happened after that. I think that was it turns out that was the way to go. If we could, I don't think you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but if we could find a way to get back to 26 books that tell you everything and everybody agrees on that, I think that would be nice.
I just want one book that you open up, but on the cover it says "Don't panic."
Yeah. Right. It's okay. It's going to be okay. There's a lot in here. Most of it doesn't matter for you.
And for those of you who did not get that reference, you cannot be my friend. Oh man. So let's go back to your podcast. Well, I love chasing rabbits. All right,
Yeah,
let's go back to your
right.
podcast. And you brought this up and you mentioned it that you've been now several years sober.
Right.
Which kudos to you. Congrats.
Thank you.
And so this podcast, was this something that was born out of that now sobriety?
Yeah.
Part
Oh,
of
for
your
sure.
part of your having to fill the time again?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
absolutely. I needed someplace. I mean, you get a lot of mental space when you get sober
Mhm.
too. It's not just time, it's actual mental space cleared up from having to worry about, I mean, depending on what level of alcoholism you're working with, having to worry about hiding your alcoholism, having to worry about keeping yourself drunk, and being drunk and not thinking clearly. Yeah, all that needs somewhere to go. And this
Yeah.
is, this is a dump. I dump everything that is in my head into the show.
And I'm glad you do that. And in a way, I'm glad you brought that up because actually the last 5 episodes I've done have been almost on this very topic. Not necessarily dealing with alcohol, but addictions and traumas.
Right.
And finding something positive to channel that whatever it is you've got going on inside while you're trying to get over these things.
Yeah.
And my channeling obviously is my writing and my artwork and my
Mhm.
kids and some of the other people I've brought on. It's their writing or it's talking into a microphone like you and I are doing.
Right.
And so for those of you out there who may be listening, I mean, if you're looking for a positive outlet to just vent, or
Yeah.
if you want to do something that's creative, I mean, this is it. And
Yeah.
right now, everybody will tell you first of all, if you go to any of the forums, they're going to tell you that if you didn't get back into podcasting at 2010 when it became big, then you're
Mhm.
probably never going to make it big. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Also, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a guy sitting here in the South who likes to bring people on and talk, and I've got listeners all over the world.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not going to be a Joe Rogan. I don't think anybody's going to have that level of fame in their podcasts like he does, because I mean, he was there from day one.
Yeah.
But even still, if you reach 1, 2, 3 people that you can interact with and
Mhm.
possibly be a positive influence in their life, I mean, isn't that worth it right there?
Right. I would just say, you said you've got your writing, your painting, the show, and your kids. I would just say thank you on behalf of your kids for having those other things and not dumping it all into them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, don't dump it all into your kids, because a lot of it's garbage.
Yes.
That a kid doesn't need.
I would never subject my kids to the crap that I had to grow up with.
Oh my gosh.
Because and they know my past and my history and everything.
Yeah.
So and I'm like, dude, you guys got it made compared to me.
How old are your kids? How old are your kids?
My oldest one is 23.
Holy moly! Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an old dude. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, you look great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a 4-year-old, and I've said a bunch, like, we're gonna have to figure out a way to, like, I'm worried that we're too good at parents, because if he's not, emotionally damaged, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to have a relationship when he gets older.
Wait till he becomes a teenager.
I know. And my wife always says, like, you're doing okay. He's gonna be emotionally damaged. You don't have to worry about that.
Don't worry. You're gonna screw him up the same way we screwed you up, buddy.
Yeah.
I do think though that parents today, and I'm not picking on millennials, some of the millennials that are coming up, I think that some of them, through learning about what traumas can do to individuals, kids, and what it can do to their development and everything, I think they're going to be okay.
Mhm.
I mean, our generation, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but my generation thought if beat it out of you was good.
Right. Yeah.
And we now know that's not good.
No, that doesn't work. But I turned out okay.
Yeah, but I turned out okay. Wrong.
No, you didn't.
If somebody
really
tells you, but I turned out okay, it was like, oh, really?
This is what you think okay looks like?
Yeah. It's like, really? Tell me about your 3 marriages that have failed so far, and your kids don't like you. Yeah, you
Right,
turned out
right.
great.
Yeah, I'm a child abusing monster, but I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, and I can honestly say I've been married for 23 years. Don't beat my kids. I mean, they definitely get grounded.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think our next generation coming up, there, like I said, a lot of people are dogging on the millennials because, oh, they're lazy, and I have to disagree.
Yeah, totally.
This next batch of kids that I see between 18 and 25 are probably some of the most creative individuals I've seen so far. Their willingness to speak openly about how they feel about what's going on in the world, and to be able to take something as simple as this phone
Yeah.
and create content, media that is literally going to shape other people's minds and views of the world. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's good. It's all moving in the right direction. I
Yeah.
am a little worried about their unfettered access to pornography, but we'll see how that plays out.
Well, that is a big industry.
I think we're going to be raising a lot of emotionally healthy, like very sexually confused.
Yeah,
like emotionally healthy but sexually.
I can guarantee you there's going to be some kids that are going to grow up and think, I ordered a pizza. That's not what happened. He just gave it to me.
Right. Well, I mean, they're so far beyond pizza delivery boys at this point. It's just like, why? Yeah. Why isn't anybody choking me? Is the thing we got to say.
Or why are you not wearing a big fox outfit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend who was like, dude, you got to check this out. And I was like, what? And he goes, this is a thing. What? He sent me a link, and I saw the header and the link, and I'm like, don't ever send that shit to my computer.
Right.
And he's like, why? And I said, because I don't want that on my computer. It's like, no. So I had to go incognito mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the furries sex thing. And I was like, that's a thing?
Yeah. I mean, more power to you, furries.
Yeah. I don't want any pissed off furries coming to my house. I mean, great. If that's your kink, rock with it, man.
Yeah. But it seems like a lot of work.
I'm generally trying to get stuff off.
Right. I always go back to Mark Maron has a joke about like role playing in sex or like anything above like just regular kind of sex, and he's like, well, you want me to put on like some kind of hat? It's like, I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to pull that off.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep a straight face with that hat on.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in my day, you want to see some people making love, you had to watch the Scrambled channel and hope for the best.
And do one of these, like
Picasso porn, cubist pornography.
Was that a nipple?
Yeah.
No, that was not.
Right. Or get out of your house and jump in a recycling bin somewhere.
Yeah, or you were lucky enough. That was us at our age. It's like you were lucky enough to stumble across a Playboy that somebody threw out.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Crap. We're going to hide this in the back of the shed. And then all our friends came over and was like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep.
And now it's like they can be sitting in class and flip open their phone, and they got to go into their Bluetooth. Nobody knows what they're doing, and they're sitting there watching somebody getting choke slammed out on a couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but I think they'll be okay.
I think we have a way around that, though. Parents just need to start learning to say no and using those parental controls.
Sure. There are going to be ways around it, though.
Yeah,
there are always going to be a way. I just think we're going to have to learn to deal with the fact that kids are going to know more.
They already know more. Now, they're still stupid. I will tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Because I had my 13-year-old came home one night, and see, in my family, we're very open about talking about sex. because I don't feel that that's something we need to treat as taboo, because so many things can go bad or wrong by doing that. So if you've got a question, ask it. We're going to tell you. My wife works in the medical field. She's very clinical about it as well. I'm the one sitting in the background giving the hand gestures and stuff like that. And she's being very clinical about it. But one time he came home and we were sitting at the dinner table. He just was like, "Hey, Dad, Mom." And we're like, "What? What's a blowjob?" And I looked at my wife and she looked at me. I said, "Do you want this one or do you want me to get it?" And
Yeah,
she just kind of
right.
looked at me and I'm like, "I've never given one." So she just kind of, So she explained to him what it was. And he goes, "Well, that's not at all what my friends told me." And that's where my time to chime up. That's because your friends are dumb.
Yeah. Well, the blow part of it confuses the tweens.
Yes.
I think I remember that being confusing.
Yeah,
Seemed like air should be pushed out at some point.
Absolutely not. So, but yeah, that's what I was getting at there, is at least he was confident enough in us to ask us.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of kids out there now that won't do that. And it's because of their parents shaming it, so I think the kids will be okay as long as we don't try to put a stigma on it.
Yeah, just keep talking.
Yeah, just keep talking. And we've told my oldest son before he ever moved out, and when he was still in his 16-year-old ways and using way too much shampoo and telling him, "Hey, look, what you're watching on those videos, that's not how it works."
Yeah. It's gonna be.
You are going to be sadly disappointed.
It's going to be disappointing, and you're yeah.
Yeah. First of all, 20-minute video, nah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be different than that. I don't even know how to say. Like, it could go any number of ways, but it's not gonna go that way.
It's not gonna go that way.
There are a lot of different ways,
and I can guarantee you,
man.
Way. First time you're gonna freak out. 3 minutes, you're out.
Yeah, right.
And so yeah, but my point is, yeah, we've gone way off on a tangent, but that's okay because this is the Anything Goes Project. But yeah, we want our kids to be brought up and be taught. Yes, we have an information overload through the media, the phones, through the computers, everything that we do, which is great. I love information. I'm all for access of information, but like I said, parents, you guys are going to have to start throttling your kids back a little bit and kind of directing where that information goes. I mean, yes, I come onto this show and I talk to people about different things, but I usually try to back it up with some sort of reference, fact-based or something like that. Speaking of, because I did a show about a month and a half ago with another podcaster on his show, and we were talking about 5G and some of the misconceptions that are behind it, because it's already people are blowing up, or, "Oh, 5G is going to kill everything. It's making frogs turn gay," and stuff like that. And it was like, so he and I did a whole show on it, and I said, "Do you want me to play the skeptic?" And he said, "Let's just come on there and talk about it." So I went and did a lot of research on it, and I pulled up a bunch of peer-reviewed journal articles that were written on it, because there really hasn't been too much study on it yet because it's so brand new.
Right.
But we pulled up everything from the World Health Organization, all this stuff, and it was good information. It wasn't some sort of conspiracy theory put on your aluminum hat crap. It was, this is how radio waves work. This is at what levels they penetrate the body, and this and this. This is what levels 5G actually runs at. It's well within the safety parameters and all this stuff. And then it was, he put it on YouTube, and it literally, in less time than it would have taken you to watch the whole video, because we did an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It got banned. Permanently banned.
Really?
From YouTube. And you got a letter from YouTube. So if you're watching this, kiss my ass. He got a letter from YouTube that told him he needed to go seek psychiatric counseling because they felt he might be suicidal.
What?
Yeah. YouTube sent him a letter for that.
That's odd.
And it took a month and a half of fighting to get it back on.
What was their objection?
We don't know. They never gave a clear objection. So the only thing I'm thinking is probably one of these conspiracy theorists
Yeah.
dropped in and saw the video and got 5 minutes into it and realized we weren't going to be agreeing with it, what he thought, and reported the crap out of it.
Okay.
It's the only thing we can figure, because their explanation was just it was a nothing burger, because they literally, their explanation said this goes against the community policies.
Yeah, that's a big broad, vague phrase.
Yeah.
That they throw at you a fair amount.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just recently got it because of the last show I did. They're trying to say that one of my videos won't be monetized because of copyright infringement. And I'm like, how is it copyright infringement? And I even wrote them politely and I said, how is this copyright infringement? Did you even watch the video? The guy on the other side of the microphone wrote the music. He wanted me to play it.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting tagged for that now.
Yeah, it's a hard world out there. A lot of confusing. It's all very complicated.
Yes, but here we are.
Here we are.
Podcasters.
Yeah. At the vanguard. Fighting the good fight.
Fighting the good fight and entertaining people. That's my biggest thing, and that's what I liked about your show. That was all my posters just fell down. It was a very entertaining show. I enjoyed it. I got a good laugh from it. It was It wasn't one of these like just. I probably subscribed to about 60 podcasts now, and it's because I like a variety of things. And some podcasts I listen to are science-based podcasts. Some are on literature. Some are on art. Some are on physics. And but you gotta have something that's going to break up that monotony, because we just can't take everything so serious.
Yeah, right, and it's possible to laugh and take something seriously at the same time. That is a thing that is possible, that I don't think people understand always. That just because I'm laughing at something doesn't mean I don't also take it seriously. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, you gotta laugh at stuff. Everything's funny. Everything's funny. Sort of.
Yeah. Well, I laugh at a lot of things, and then I've got people that tell me, well, I'm offended. Okay, well, that sounds like a problem for you.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not, I'm not big into the whole PC culture is ruining everything. Fine, whatever. I honestly don't think that's true. I think it's still possible to be very funny. I'm just did 5 episodes about platypuses that I think are pretty funny. And that's not, I think they managed to be a little bit edgy without hitting the buttons that you're not supposed to hit.
Yeah.
Right now.
And for any of the audience that may be watching this up above or below, I haven't figured out where I'm going to put it at. There's actually going to be a little picture of the podcast so you can actually know what to look for, and a web link to get to it. So
yeah, check it out. It's good.
Yes, it is. And like I said, I was cracking up, and I had people turning around and looking at me like, what? And I'm like, it's a hookworm. Ow.
Yeah, right.
Tell us how you go into that, please, and explain that scenario. How you actually came up with that? Because I listened to it. I was having to readjust my junk multiple times, going, ah.
Well, I mean, the worms exist; those are real. That's one of the real things. I pick a topic, essentially, that I find interesting, and then I follow that wherever it goes, and I do a ton of research because I like doing research. I like procrastinating with research. That's kind of what I do. Just read as many books and watch as many documentaries as I can to avoid actually sitting down and writing. It's a problem. It's a real problem. But then I take whatever that is and I just, forget most of it and do whatever I want. But yeah, when you come across tiny hookworms that swim into your dick hole, it's not something that you can forget about.
No.
'Cause I for years I don't like going in like a lake. I don't like being in a lake. I don't like going in the ocean. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on down there. I like to have an awareness of what's happening with my
Mhm.
genitalia at all times. It's some kind of weird hang up, I guess. A fish bit my nipple one time in a lake, and I've never been the same. I think that's probably what it goes back to.
Yeah.
Nobody believed me.
Didn't even call you afterwards, did he?
Didn't call, no, nobody believed me. I said, fish bit my nipple, and everybody said that is not a thing that happens. And
Oh,
it did.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been many times swimming in the lake, and perch would be pulling the hair out of your leg.
Yeah, right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah. And like, the fish biting the nipple thing, it's fairly harmless, but it's just, what else? What else could happen? Anything else could happen.
And I've heard about these little worms or parasites, as some things have called them, and I've heard it joked about here and there. But one instance that stands out to me, because when you started talking about it, it immediately brought me back to that. What's that? The Rundown with The Rock.
Okay.
Do you remember that movie?
I don't know if I've seen that.
That's the one that's got the guy that played Stifler on one of those shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, and The Rock in it, and they're in South America, and there's this one scene where they've got to jump in the water and swim to this cave, and the woman is like, their guide is like, okay, we're gonna jump in this water, and she goes, and just remember, don't pee in the water. And they were like, what? Why? Because we have a little worm here that if you pee in the water, he gets attracted to the warmth, and he will swim up your pinto, and you can't pull him out because he's got hooks on his head. And they were like, no, right. I'm not getting in there. There ain't no worm getting in my pinto.
I mean, it's a real nightmare scenario.
Yeah, and then River Monsters did an episode on it.
Yep. Oh yeah, I think I saw that too.
And it was like,
I saw that.
They showed the worm, and it's like, that's a hideous looking bastard.
Yeah, all these little creatures, if you get right up to them, they're just, they're just earth aliens.
Yeah, and have you seen the worm that they found under the Antarctic?
I don't think so.
There's I'll have to see if I can pull up a picture of it and show it to you later. But there's a worm that they found, because we know the Antarctic is melting. Okay,
right? Yeah,
shit's going wrong on the world. Well, it's melting, but now they're discovering all kinds of new life forms there,
right?
That have been under that ice, and they found this worm that's about this long, or the picture it looked about this. As far as I know, it could be this long. Okay. But it's got these huge ass mandibles on it. And its body looks like it has white feathers all the way down it.
Holy shit.
It is terrifying looking. And I was sitting there looking at that going, that's been under the ice? We don't need to melt that.
I just speaking of terrifying water worms or whatever, I just saw a video of this worm that lives deep in the ocean. And they can grow to be 15 to 20 feet long, and they have teeth, and they're carnivorous. Yep. And it hides under the water, or under the ocean bed.
Mm-hmm.
And it burrows itself in, so all 15 feet of it are underneath. And then its head comes up, and it kind of looks like a sea flower, but it's teeth. I mean, it's got full-on long teeth, and it waits for something it's totally blind, so something has to either touch it, or if its shadow falls on the thing, it'll strike, and it can eat an entire octopus in one strike, and then it just pulls it under the.
I don't know if you can see that. Nope.
Nope,
it won't work. I found a picture of it.
Oh, the bobbit worm is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's called the bobbit worm.
Okay, I think I have heard of the bobbit worm.
It's horrifying. It looks like those fucking sandworms from Beetlejuice is what it looks like.
Okay, or from Dune.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, don't want that. And I just sent you that picture on Messenger. So
okay, yeah. Oh yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how big it is, but that is one strange looking dude, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got like gold feathers. It's like
Yeah, and they found
yeah.
that under the Antarctic when it started, when they were starting to get some of those ice shelves were thawing and falling out, and it's living peacefully and perfectly fine under there. So
Mm-hmm.
what else
Mm-hmm.
is under there?
Who knows? You know, I mean that the end of the world will be entertaining. I'm sure.
Very much so.
We're gonna learn all kinds of things as we're all dying.
We're gonna number one thing we're gonna learn is, oh shit, we can't swim forever, and this stuff
Yeah.
breathe, we kind of need it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So I'm
Yeah,
waiting
who
on your
knows?
global warming show.
Yeah, well, maybe someday. I'm working on what am I working on now? Rasputin. I'm writing an
Oh,
episode
that's
about
gonna be a good
Rasputin.
one.
The death of Rasputin is one of the great scenes in all of history.
Yeah.
And yeah, that should be a good one.
Poison, hung, cut, just shot.
Yeah, kind of beat over the head, poisoned, shot, stabbed, drowned, all kinds of stuff. And then you can get into, Rasputin's penis, which is a big historical topic that supposedly exists in a jar somewhere. You can find pictures of that on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's an interesting fella.
Yeah, he
Rasputin.
was, and I've listened to a couple podcasts on him, and it's like, wow, just some of the stuff that went on about it, and then you got the lore behind it. Is he really dead? Because supposedly you couldn't kill him, and all this stuff. And
Right.
I love how some movies have taken a play on that, because the Hellboy series.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of directions to take that story. I mean, what's interesting about Rasputin is how recent he lived. How recently he lived. Like there are pictures, there are photographs of Rasputin.
Actual photographs.
But he seems like he, wandered out of the Siberian forest from the, 1300s. He's just this mystic, the last legitimate mystic.
I think he was very familiar with how the human psyche worked and how to manipulate people. So
right.
I see, if he wasn't killed, I see the potential for him to have possibly been the next major cult leader.
Yeah. I mean, in essence, he was. I mean, he took down Russia. I mean, he took down the Tsar. He took down the whole Tsarist regime. Essentially, I mean, it wasn't just him, but he played a big role.
He was the influencer.
Yeah. He found the right Tsar and Tsarina for his purposes and milked that for all it was worth.
Yeah.
So
I'll be interested to hear that story, because that one right there, I think there's a lot of people listening now that would probably find that fascinating, because I love history. I love delving into it, and because specifically the history that they don't like to teach you in school. Let's look at the darker side of the history, because there's a lot of it. Dan Carlin,
right?
It's one podcast I really enjoy listening to, because I mean, he dives deep into some of these subjects. I mean, it's been a while since he put out a podcast, but I think the last one he put out was almost 6 hours long.
I mean, yeah, they're crazy long.
It was the one on nuclear proliferation, the one that he put out. And that was insane listening to it. My kids listened to it with me, and they were like, we didn't go over any of this stuff in class.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And his series on Genghis Khan. And he's a talented guy. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to just hop on a mic. And I mean, he's not just hopping on a mic. There's insane amounts of research behind that guy, but
insane amounts of research. And he's got a hell of a production team.
He really does. It's crazy. That guy he deserves his reputation as one of the
absolutely
the Mount Rushmore guys of podcasting. I think
it's very underrated, because there's a lot of people that have never heard of him, and it's like, I think people would benefit more from listening to that type of podcast than to listening to a podcast that on every episode you get asked, have you tried DMT?
Yeah, right. yeah, we could go into that too. I recently tried watching that show. I watched it for the first time. Because
which episode did you try to watch?
The Maynard James Keenan episode. My other podcast that I had done that we are now ending was about metal, and we did an episode on Tool, which isn't exactly metal, but it's metal adjacent, and metal people love Tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the Maynard episode, and that is just a bad combination of people. That is, in my opinion, two people that just rub me the wrong way.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little homework, and you're gonna love this, and it's going to involve you getting back onto Joe Rogan's show. Go watch his Alex Jones episode.
Oh God, I don't know if I can.
I didn't think I could. I did, and I caught myself a couple times yelling at nobody.
Right.
And watch that, because you get to see the insanity behind them. And I can say this because people have asked me this before. I've met Alex Jones in person.
Wow.
He lives right here in Texas, in Austin.
Oh, okay. Of course. Okay. Yeah, sure.
And I used to have to go to Austin multiple occasions because I was a guest speaker at our state capitol, speaking alongside Ron Paul and a couple of other people. It was for Constitution Week. I was giving a speech on numismatics and how we need to our economy is no longer based on anything of value and stuff like that. And that was my speech part of it. And then they were talking about other stuff. I got to meet him while I was down there on one of these events, and it was like, he tried to say during that court case, oh, it's just a persona. This is how I am on the.
Yeah.
No, that's how he is all the time. He's nuttier than a fucking fruitcake.
Yeah. I mean, he has to turn it off at some point.
Nope.
He's just.
He does not turn. He goes into a restaurant. He's full on Alex Jones. He goes to a grocery store. You get Alex Jones.
Yeah.
There's some wiring loose somewhere.
Yeah. I'm aware of him. I have tried to avoid it as much as possible.
It's hard.
I know some people that are way, way, way into it.
Yeah. I live in the South. Everybody's into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a problem.
Yes, it is. And I'm kind of glad that, as much as I do not like censorship, there comes a point, though, when the information that is being given becomes harmful. And yes, it probably does need to be pulled. And in this situation, it was not a government censorship. The marketplace took over.
Yeah.
And he got pulled from YouTube. He got pulled from Facebook. He got pulled from iTunes, all these different locations. Even PayPal quit allowing him to process his supplements through them.
Yeah, supplements. Jesus Christ.
His whole show, he sold supplements.
It's a big internal debate constantly between censorship is generally bad and fuck that guy.
Yeah.
it's tough, you know.
And I think the point that I get across to people is, yes, government censorship of freedom of your speech is wrong. We don't need a government agency censoring what you say and this and that. However, the marketplace is more than welcome to tell you can take your shit and go fuck yourself.
Right.
And that's what happened in this situation.
And you can, yeah.
And he's raising hell. My First Amendment rights are being violated. No, all these companies cut their ties with you because they didn't want to be associated with you.
Because you're embarrassing. You're an embarrassing human being.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to do a whole Alex Jones episode.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of did my Flat Earth episode as sort of an Alex Jones. I mean, I really made it pretty shouty. Yeah, I'll occasionally do fake commercials on the show, and about like selling gold, that kind of thing. So yeah, that world is fascinating, but you don't want to spend too much time in it.
No, because it can start to.
I mean, yeah, once it starts making sense, then you're in trouble.
I've tried to get a hold of some people one time because I wanted to get them because they wanted me to come on the show and talk about some of this stuff. And I was like, man, I said, I can give you some names of people to come on and talk, but I'm not going to do it. I spent a little too much time around that batshittery. And they were like, what? And it was on that sovereign citizen stuff.
Okay.
And I mean, you're up there in the Dakotas area and stuff
Right.
like that. Some of those areas up there are real heavy into that sovereign citizen, need our own militia and stuff like this.
Yeah, that's more western North Dakota into
Yeah.
Montana. Yeah.
Oh, and Montana, yeah, because when I was in
Yep.
Montana, that was where I actually met the Montana militia.
Right.
And I was like, these people are insane. Somebody get me to a damn airport.
Yeah.
And so they were, and it was literally, and these were the guys that were, you get pulled over. Well, what is the definition of this and this and this? I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm not this and this. What is the definition? And they'll argue with it. And then next thing you know, they're laying on the ground getting tased and they're wondering what the hell's going on. And it's like, just because you were mouthing off, that's what happened. But
right.
But I knew a lot of these people firsthand. I actually did a TV interview with 3 ex-IRS agents many years ago. They had left the agency, and they came on to talk about some of the not exactly legal crap that the agents do in the background during their investigations and stuff like this. And we know it's a government agency. Somebody's always going to be doing some sort of shady shit. So I brought them on to talk about this, and it was great. That was kind of like me opening a can of worms. Every nutcase in the country came out and was like, "You're a god, and you brought them on, and this. Come over here, look at my pamphlet."
Yeah, right.
And my video, it's actually still up today.
Nice.
The video I did is still up today. It's not on my website.
That's another great thing about podcasting. You don't know where it's going to go once you throw
I will
it
tell you exactly where it's at. So any of my listeners want to journey down a rabbit hole of insanity, head over to sedm.org. Stands for Sovereignty Education Defense Ministry.
Oh boy, those are words that should not go together.
And you can and you go into their main website, okay, guys, and type in the search bar taxed, TAXED. It will take you straight to my video. They downloaded that sucker, and dude, the first week it was on that website, they got 90,000 hits.
Holy smokes.
And it was like, wow. And like I said, man, dude, I had people coming to me left and right, sending me mail, sending me books. And it was like, I had to throw out a whole library of stuff because it was like all conspiracy theory stuff. And it was like, I can actually go to my old Encyclopedia Britannicas and show you that this is... And it was just, it was insane. And they wanted me to come on the show and talk about that. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that again. I don't want those people knowing I exist.
Yeah, you just don't know. I mean, they can just turn on you so quickly.
I'm in a secret bunker now.
Yeah, exactly. I did, on one of my episodes, I did a commercial that was like erotic conspiracy literature written by Burlap Bundy, who was a second cousin of the famous Bundy clan. Yeah, I probably shouldn't talk about that just after you. Hopefully I'm not like flagged as like an enemy of the militia community.
Yeah, no.
I thought it was funny.
It sounds funny. Now tell me, have you gotten onto Amazon and looked at any of the Bigfoot erotica?
Yeah, that was sort of the impetus for it. Yeah. Yes, there's the Bigfoot erotica.
I kind of figured that's where that was coming from. But yeah, I've got a couple people that I know that are into going out and doing Bigfoot research and stuff like that. And I told them about Bigfoot erotica, and they were like, wait, what?
Yeah. No, I did another episode of the show. I did an episode about Johnny Appleseed. And I decided that if anybody had run into Bigfoot, it would have been Johnny Appleseed, because he was, kind of leading the way. He would go to the places that weren't inhabited yet to make them semi-habitable, whatever. Like, the historic Johnny Appleseed, not the myth or whatever.
Not the Disney version.
Yeah, I figured he would probably, if anybody had run into Bigfoot, Johnny Appleseed would have run into Bigfoot. And he was into all that mystical, Swedenborg shit too, like Emanuel Swedenborg. You never know. When you start really researching something, you don't know that Johnny Appleseed's going to introduce you to Emanuel Swedenborg, but there you are. Swedenborg's a whole other
So you see, guys, this is the type of stuff you're gonna get if you listen to his podcast, man. I'm gonna have to go back and start downloading some of these other episodes.
Well, yeah. So anyway, I thought, well, maybe Johnny Appleseed was seemed like a fairly lonely man, so maybe he had a relationship with Bigfoot. So I did a one-act play, erotic play of Johnny Appleseed and Bigfoot.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife is so proud of me.
My wife. I got dared on a dare.
Yeah.
Because I released my first book, and it was post-apocalyptic zombie stuff. I mean, I like writing horror genres. Well, I had part of a writer's group and all this stuff, and somebody was like, well, write something outside of your genre. And I went, okay, what do you want me to write? And so it was like, all right, I'll write something. You tell me what you want me to write, and I'll write it. And they go, erotica.
Yeah.
I was like, and I was like, you mean that stuff that these soccer moms buy on Amazon that sell like hotcakes? And they went, yeah, so hell yeah, I'll write something like that.
Right, it's fun.
So I started writing an erotica series called The Pool Boy.
There you go.
And I felt so dirty writing that.
I know, it feels weird, doesn't it? It feels really weird.
I told my wife, I said, I'm going to have to release this under a pseudonym.
Yeah.
And she was like, and I gave her a little bit of it to read. She was like, that's not how it works. And I went, no, it doesn't. She goes, no, this is bad. And she goes, it's good writing, but no, this is like, and I went, this is the stuff soccer moms love.
Yeah.
And so I ended up deciding I was going to release. I haven't released it yet because I haven't finished the series because I kind of don't want to, but I know I need to eventually. But I want to release it under the pseudonym Wonky Johnson.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that might be too far. That's going to give away your hand that you're not taking it seriously. You have to. The soccer moms want you to be serious. They want you to be taking it seriously, I think. But I don't know. I think soccer moms have probably changed since the term soccer mom was coined.
No.
Maybe they have more of a sense of humor.
No, because I actually get to see a lot of the numbers that come in through Amazon because being an author on Amazon. And those books still sell like crazy.
But I mean, also the Bigfoot ones sell like crazy too.
Oh yeah, so they do. Maybe, and then
that's what I mean. Maybe they have more of a sense of humor about it.
And then there's another series that sells pretty good. The guy actually writes them as a joke. They're gay erotica, but it's something like, but it's always like something in my butt or something like that. The titles of them, and it's like people are buying those things like crazy, and there's like 50 of them on there.
I mean, how many are just bought as like joke Christmas gifts? Like all of them?
Probably, I would think.
It just always stuff like that always reminds me of like, like I heard somebody talking about like the gathering of the Juggalos, right? Like, is that just are there like 8 Juggalos there, and then like 4,000 people being ironic? Like it's like. At some point, the people there for a laugh outnumber the people there because they actually want to be there.
I was kind of hoping that was what was going to happen with the Area 51 Naturo run.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it wasn't quite that. There was only like, it was a couple hundred people showed up to that. And I was like, I'm disappointed in you guys. Yeah. Come on, get your game together.
Right. I should probably also add, so that my Johnny Appleseed episode, I also wrote and performed a doo-wop sung by Bigfoot about Johnny Appleseed.
Nice.
So, yeah, go check it out.
Man of many talents here.
I don't know about that. I would listen to it first, but I did it. Yeah. I like coming up with an idea that I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I don't have the capability to do that, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and that's the best way to do it. Doing stuff like this, what you and I do on podcasting and everything, it is very much so an impromptu, on the spot, creative outlet. Yours is a little more thought out because you do a lot of research and everything.
Yeah.
I'm having to think on my feet sometimes. Sometimes I'll get a guest on here that's like, has never done an interview before in their life.
Right.
And I have to guide them and lead them through the whole thing. And I'm like, I have your bio. I'm just going to guide you through your bio. Tell me your story.
Yeah, right.
But it's fun. it's a blast to do, which is, I want some of the people that are listening, if you're actually interested in doing a podcast, I mean, dude, this is the kind of stuff we get to do on a daily basis. Reid and I I guess we friended each other, a month or so ago on Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like, and you said something about a podcast, and I'm like, I do a podcast. And you were like, I do one too. And I'm like, great. You want to come on mine? Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You don't know where it's going to take you.
Yeah. And it's just fun to do. It's fun to get out here and actually just be silly sometimes.
Yeah.
I do shows that are serious on occasion, but I like to do silly shows.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. There's nobody's telling you not to do it. Even if it's probably not a good idea, you can still go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we on the metal show, we interviewed Tim Ripper Owens. That was pretty cool. I never thought I'd be talking on the phone with the guy that was the inspiration for Rockstar, but there I was. I've seen Rockstar in a dozen hotel rooms over the years. So yeah, it's interesting. It can take you.
I'm kind of sad to see that show is leaving, because I just got to listen to the first episode today that I listened to, and it was your buddy had apparently moved to another state, and y'all were talking about how this is going to be different for us having to do this. So,
right.
But I was thinking I was going to keep going, but man,
I'm sad to see it go too. But yeah, my wife is pregnant, and it's just not manageable right now. So,
maybe
go
we'll see something in the future.
Go listen to the back episodes. If enough people listen to those, maybe we'll be forced to come out of retirement.
Yeah,
it was interesting though. It was an interesting.
It was interesting that episode that I listened to was very interesting, because I went into some in-depth commentary on some different genres of music. I was kind of second guessing bringing you on tonight because you were not a big fan of Queen.
Yeah, I know that's a controversial opinion that I have.
So, but I will forgive you for that, because you had Johnny Appleseed erotica with Bigfoot.
Yep. Okay. All right.
So
thank you. I
guess that kind of redeems you.
I appreciate Queen. I think they were very talented, and I'm glad people like them. I don't like their songs.
Yeah, and music, like I've told people on many occasions, art is subjective. Very much so.
Like what you like. It's fun to have opinions, but it's all it's all just fun. It's all just goofing.
I had somebody that tried to troll the crap out of me on an art website that I'm a member of, and we all post our paintings on there that we do. And he was coming on there, "That's too much pink in this painting."
Yeah, for real?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, it's a good thing art is subjective, and your opinion really doesn't matter to me.
I'm like, what is the right amount of pink? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, it's a painting.
I had posted on Twitter yesterday, and I think Facebook too, because I'm going to my wife's Christmas party for where she works, and they booked as the entertainment for the night is REO Speedwagon.
Ooh. The cover band or the real band?
No, the real REO Speedwagon, and she works for Bank, and they're biggish, and they always bring in somebody that's like, they were big, but they're not. Like, it was Alabama one year, like is this something to be like, this is sort of too big, it seems, for the situation, but also like Alabama's like 90 years old. So anyway, I'm psyched to see REO Speedwagon. I like REO Speedwagon. But I had posted like REO Speedwagon is Rush with less talent and better songs.
Yeah.
Which I think is true, but a lot of people were upset about that opinion.
I went last year and got to see Night Ranger perform again.
Yeah.
And dude, those guys are slamming. I was like, I left there, my ears were ringing, because we were right up front, and I was like, they haven't lost it.
Well, I used to have a prejudice against these the classic rock acts that are just touring around playing their same shit over and over again. But man, you're watching dudes that have been doing it on the road, ups and downs, nobody cares, for decades, and they are pros, man. And you got to just sit back and just admire,
put a hell of a show.
Admire how good they still are and how good they've got. They're probably better than they were.
I honestly, I thought that was probably one of the best performances I've ever seen them do. 'Cause
Yeah.
I wasn't old enough to go to actual Night Ranger concerts, but of course you
Right.
saw them back when MTV used to play stuff on TV, on music
Yeah.
videos, and you're just like, man, they just got up there and they were so personable. That's what I liked about it. It was a
Yeah.
smaller venue, but I think we had like maybe 800 people there. But
Yeah.
it was a small venue, so I mean, they were personable. They were interacting, talking with the crowd, like, "Hey guys," and this and that here, and they'd walk down there, hand somebody a pick while he's talking, and
Right.
and then they'd swap off. The drummer would get down and do something with them, and they just all. And what I thought was really neat is they actually, the decades of being on the road, they, since they are now touring again, they're using this time. Yeah, they're playing their old music and some newer stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but they're each taking a time to talk to the audience and just reminisce about, yeah, man, back in such and such year, we did this. This was stupid, crazy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It might just be because maybe it's just a byproduct of getting older. But
yeah,
I like seeing the old guys. We saw Merle Haggard and Chris Christopherson a few years back, and holy shit! I mean, talk about dudes that have been doing it forever. And it's just like you just have to be like, it's amazing that you're still up here doing this, and you're just so good. You're so good right now.
yeah.
Nobody
Not
can
like
touch
some
those
of,
dudes.
and it's not like some of the music that's coming out now, and I've complained a lot about that. This trap rap and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no talent there.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's talent. It's just a different kind of thing. I don't listen to it or much of it. I listen to some new stuff, I guess, too.
Yeah, some of the newer music is fine, but I mean, just some of these guys that it's like it's a 4-minute song repeating the same phrase over and over and over again. To me,
Mhm.
that's not talent. Or
Yeah.
talent, if you're going to do hip hop, I mean, I just had a hip hop artist on the show. If you're going to do hip hop, I mean, write some lyrics that are going to slam it. Don't just my Gucci bag, my Gucci watch, okay, I don't give a shit what you're wearing. Tell me something.
Mhm.
And so, but the kids are eating this crap up, and it's like these guys are just one hit wonders. That's basically all they do is they release these one song, it's catchy, and it makes for a good ringtone, and then that's it. You never hear anything from them. So they're not like some of the legends that we grew up with, like Snoop Dogg and Dr.
Yeah.
Dre, LL Cool J, Eminem, or then we go back into the like REO Speedwagon, Foreigner, Journey, and stuff like that. I mean, these guys wrote songs that 30 years we're still hearing them.
Yeah, but that exists now too. You know, there's been bullshit from day one. There was plenty of shitty bands that nobody remembers, or they remember one song, or like, you know, like it's not like, I mean, there are probably more shitty artists available now just because it's so easy to get your stuff into the world.
Oh
at
yeah,
this point.
Spotify, iTunes,
I mean,
anybody can put anything up.
right. And but I think there are just the same amount of talented people now.
And
as
there
ever.
are, and one of my biggest things I've been really enjoying doing is staying off of the top 40 charts and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't been listening to any of the music that's been coming off the top 40. I've been diving into a lot of the indie artists that you can find on like Spotify and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm finding some diamonds in the rough there.
Right.
And
Yeah, there's lots of great stuff.
I just got through interviewing a young lady, and her band is called Laced in Blue, and they do like it's almost like a Stevie Ray Vaughan vibe.
Yeah.
When you're listening to it, and I was like, holy crap, these guys are good, and they're not a major label. They produce and write everything themselves. They own all the rights to their music, and they've got a whole album out. And I was like, damn, I listened to the whole album, and I was like, this is some good shit.
Yeah.
And then there again, then you got the top 40 stuff, and it's like it's just like I want to jab something in my ear.
I'm a sucker for pop music, though. I like a Taylor Swift. I like it.
I don't mind Taylor Swift.
I like a good pop song. It's like they go into like a pop music laboratory, and the pop music scientists brew together something that is impossible to get out of your head, and that's impressive to me.
Yeah, like
I like that a little.
All
bit.
about the bass.
Yeah, or just I mean, they're wizards. I don't know. It's all technology, but they are really. I mean, they got it down to a science.
Now, if an artist really wants to impress me, be able to bring that energy and that sound live.
Yeah.
and very few can do that now. I've been to several concerts where it's like you can tell somebody's got an auto tuner on and they're lip syncing some of the stuff, and it's like, nah, man, that's not how it's supposed to be done.
My taste, I mean, just this metal show has thrown everything
Out of
into
whack.
such confusion in terms of my taste in music. I went to a month ago. I went to the Fargo Dome, which is our big venue in Fargo, and saw Celine Dion because I found tickets for $7 a piece.
Oh crap! How'd you do that?
They were on StubHub. It was like last minute. They wanted to fill the shittiest seats, I guess, and they were $7. They were still not. It was fine. It was. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. She's so talented. She's like the world's best singer and the world's worst stand-up comedian all rolled into one.
I just saw a commercial with her on Instagram, and I was like, oh, she still got it.
She's amazing. I mean, it's not like I don't want to listen to a whole Celine Dion album, but there's like 3 songs there that are full-blown classics, and seeing her do that live is impressive for $7. And then 2 weeks later, I saw Phil Anselmo.
Ghost?
But I saw at the same venue. I saw Phil Anselmo with Ministry, Primus, and Slayer.
Oh, see, I like Ministry and Primus.
Well, I don't like Primus, and I still don't after seeing him live, especially. But but it's just I'm just all over the place.
I always called Primus hillbilly industrial metal.
Yeah, it feels like an inside joke that I'm not a part of. I don't.
It is.
I don't. Yeah, it was a weird addition to that lineup.
Oh yeah, I used to have several of Primus's albums. I mean, they were named weird, like Pork Soda and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all from that Frank Zappa school of music that I've
I like Butthole Surfers.
Yeah, I'm okay with Butthole Surfers. They had that one album that was like kind of polished and like there were
that was the one that had the hit song on it. Who the hell was in my bed last night?
Oh, I don't know about that one, but Pepper was huge, right? Yep,
and that one was huge. And then Jimmy was a race car driver, or no, that was
Primus.
That was Primus.
Primus, right?
That was Primus.
And then Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Yeah,
the first song I ever heard by them, and that was starting me off on the wrong foot because I was like, I don't think.
I don't know if I want my kids to hear this.
This is a school of comedy that I'm not. I don't know.
It's sort of like what is it? That Psycho. I forgot the name of them. They do the Beard song.
Psycho Stick.
Yeah, Psycho Stick.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually heard them, but Robert talked about them every once in a while on the show.
Yeah, they're pretty funny too. They're kind of in that genre, same as Primus.
Right. Yeah, I don't mind I don't mind something that's hard to get into, but for some reason they just I get it. You're very good at playing the bass.
Now, Ministry is interesting because if you just go there and you want to listen to some hard hitting riffs, great, you're going to get it. But listen to the lyrics.
Yeah,
there's a message in those lyrics. Their one album, Psalm 69. That whole album was politically driven.
Yeah, and live. I mean, L. Jorgensen or whatever. I forget his name. He is ancient. He is so old. But he's hiding under his wig, so you can't really tell. And they're doing the same thing they've always done, right? So it's just flashing lights and then just horrific imagery projected on a screen behind them.
Got the Nazis marching and stuff like that. And
you
hear that
stuff.
The One World Order. And that was interesting because that album actually came out. That was about the time that George Bush Sr. that was actually taken from George Bush Sr.'s speech.
Yeah.
One World Order.
Right.
That was what he said.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Or
they were
New
good.
World Order.
They were good live.
Ministry has always put on a good live show. Primus, if that's your thing, it's funny to watch. Ghost, I was surprised when you said that you didn't like their show, but if they did all that like goofing off on the stage while he was doing his costume changes and stuff, I guess I could understand at that point why it would kind of take away from some of it.
I mean, I wanted Ghost just to be bigger. I wanted Ghost to go full Kiss, you know, and they are. I think they maybe just don't have enough money to go full Kiss. But
they're pretty much an indie band.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad I went. I just wanted it to be more. I wanted it to get bigger and dumber.
Yeah,
is what I wanted from that show.
Since you brought up Kiss, that's one I would like to see but I don't think they're ever going to do another live performance. Cause I think they've already did their farewell tour.
No, they're back on their farewell bullshit again.
They are.
They're back. They're coming to North Dakota.
Did you see the advertisement that they had for buying their whole collection? Basically, it was a huge ass box, probably about 24 inches long, just racked with CDs, DVDs, every concert they ever played, the video footage of them and all this stuff. And it was almost $3,000 for this whole collection.
Yeah.
And I saw that and was like, wow, that's expensive. Well, then I started looking at some of the interviews where they were talking to them about it. And they said, yeah, that is expensive for it. And then you find out why it was so expensive. If you bought that entire Kiss collection, it was going to be hand delivered to you by Gene Simmons.
God damn it.
And I was like, what? And Gene was like, yeah, I've already had to deliver 2 sets.
I'd be like, can Paul Stanley come instead? I don't want Gene Simmons in my house.
So you're not going near my daughter.
I will. Paul Stanley's welcome over anytime. Ace can pop over. I don't want Peter Criss or Gene Simmons in my house.
I honestly, I think I'd let Gene in my house, but I'm gonna be like,
yeah, right.
Watching you, you just keep your tongue in your mouth. And
I read all of their autobiographies, and I'm telling you, Paul's the only one I'd let in my house.
Well, I'll have to take your word on that.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't read Peter Criss's autobiography. I'm gonna save you the time, and just tell you he's very angry about everything.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Ooh,
anyway.
This has been a good show. We've just gone all over the place.
It's all over the place. Yeah.
So I just want to put this out, though, for the listeners. I mean, guys, this is kind of what we do as podcasters. Especially, I really enjoy doing shows with other podcasters because we just get on here. And, you got some of my creative juices flowing, too, of some ideas that I can be doing on my show to help improve it. But also at the same time, I like to introduce my listeners to other shows. It's like, I'm not greedy. I don't want them just listening to me. There's other stuff out there. Some stuff is better than mine.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of stuff is better than mine.
Right. Yeah.
But I want you guys to, his show right here is quality stuff. I mean, had me cracked up. I was laughing. I had people looking at me like I was insane. And then I tell them about a dick worm and they're like, what are you listening to?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's good stuff. So guys, look, I'm going to, in the show notes, in the description area, I'm going to have links to his podcast and the one that's no longer going to be aired, but you'll get links to that as well. I want you guys to head over, and if you can actually find Reid on Facebook, man, friendly, man, he's a pretty cool dude. He comes up with some interesting posts and stuff like that. And and that's pretty cool. So Reid, I mean, we've already been going now for an hour and a half.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to take this time and talk to the guests and the listeners and tell them how they can find you, where your podcast can be found, websites, whatever, this is your time, man. I want you to just put that out for our guests.
All right. Well, yeah, listen to The Irrationally Exuberant. It's wherever you get podcasts, it's there. Just Google it, theirrationallyexuberant.com. Social media, just search it. You'll find it. I put everything I got into that show, and I think it's good. I'm proud of it. It is. So check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you don't like one episode, listen to a different one. It's different. They're all different.
Start with platypuses.
Start with platypus. Start with the short ones. I throw a few stories about my life in there too every once in a while. There are a few of those episodes too. I used to hang out with homeless people a lot, so I've got stories.
Awesome.
So check it out wherever you get podcasts. That's all.
Awesome. And to any of my listeners, if you need to get a hold of me at the show, you can email me at stalkermailbox@gmail.com. You can call into the show at 361-433-5739. And like, if you got a funny story, call in, tell it to us. You know, we do another segment on here every now and then on the weird, the creepy, the paranormal, spooky, and stuff like that. I mean, hey, if you got a story, write into us, tell us your story, call in, leave us a message and tell us your story, and let us know if you want us to play it on air. We'll play it on the air. So with that, Reid, man, I just want to thank you for coming on the show tonight, man. This has been a blast. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. It's always a pleasure to meet another creator.
Yeah.
And pick their brain about what you kind of get to see what goes on up here in this gray matter and other people and what drives them. And dude, your background is insane. I've been sitting here this whole time going, where the hell did that picture come from?
Yeah, you know, if I'm ever stuck on an idea, I just look around and I'm like, okay, I'll do that thing.
That's kind of a unique way of getting like creative inspiration all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I think my office is a representation of what my show is, where it's just I dump everything in, nothing is off limits. I try to no time or place or person is off limits.
Absolutely. The same as with my show. It's Anything Goes Project, and there are no sacred cows here. And so with that, guys, we are going to let you go, and I want all of you to have a safe holiday, since this is going to be a holiday show. Safe holiday. If you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Just stay safe through the holidays. That is my main goal. Is I want you guys to be able to come back and listen to my show. And just don't wreck into somebody, please. And so with that, guys, we are out of here. Reid, if you want to say anything, close us out, and we're good to go.
No, have a good Christmas or whatever you do.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Now, here comes the music.
We want to thank you for tuning in to the Anything Goes Project. If you like this show, subscribe and share it. That would greatly help us out. To contact the show, email us at stalkermailbox@gmail.com. We love hearing from our subscribers and our listeners. The Anything Goes Project can be found on iTunes, CastBox, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn, and many other Android applications. And once again, thanks for listening.